Hello, I'm Haijun speaking to you from the depth of a mountain in Hunan province, southern China. Every week I have to travel about 10 miles from my vineyard here down the hill to the local marketplace to do shopping, also to keep it up with what's going on with the outside world. On this trip, I travel through different terrains. There are forests, cliffs and rivers along the way. But most often I see civilian houses lining along the road. Some modest, some conspicuous, and others genuinely beautiful. Over the years, I came to think it might be a good idea to rank them up architecturally. And today I'm going to make it happen by taking this ingenious trip of architectural awards. Along the way, I have traveled numerous times, with me being the only and paramount jury. As we start from high, the road is rough and the driving condition is somewhat perilous, considering how steep the cliffs are on the right side of the road. However, to make up for the danger, on the left side of the road are these large forests wherein precious animals and plants dwell. Living on this mountain, I encounter and learn about a few new species every year. Last winter, I saw two large birds with red feather, like two fireballs, burning across the snowy road. The nearest thing I came to know of to recall the idea of a phoenix. Each time after the descending, my eardrums tightened, and each time when I'm driving on this road of asphalt surface, looking at the lake over my steering wheel, I can't help but feel like to sing like a bird. And then come the houses, each standing out to show off its beauty or the like of it, each belonging to a master who thought himself comparable to the genius of Michelangelo or Giovanni Bernini. In the end, you have what we see here today. Clusters of construction competing against each other to gain an upper hand. You could almost hear the noise without them making a sound. For instance, that one. Despite we are thousands of miles away from Europe, that master clearly had some sort of delusion that he should live in a French castle like Count Monte Cristo. And that one. I have very little idea what genius is behind that concept. But I have to be honest with you, it looks to me as naked as a chicken that's been plucked off its feather. Oh my dear. Just when you're about to lose faith on China's vernacular architecture, I have to point out that there are some pieces that personify beauty and eternity, like all great arts in our human history. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please allow me the honor of presenting to you the top 5 works of art in Hunan's vernacular architecture by countrymen of my village. Place number 5 is that little tiny house behind me, the Daffodil House, so named because every time I drive by, I'd recall the lines by William Wordsworth. I wandered lonely as a cloud that flows on high over vales and hills, when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils, beside the lake, beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze. The house, judging from its style and building materials, might be about 40 years old. The architecture itself isn't of much significance. However, the setting and how the architect poised the project to the setting are impressive in every possible sense. Rather than being home to a villager's family, it's more suited as a dwelling place of a romantic poet. The lonesomeness, the breeze, the daffodils, the sunset on the mountain and its reflection on the lake. How nice, how beautiful a dwelling place. You will excuse me if you find my choice of beauty a bit outdated, or old, or dilapidated, as the city folks so painfully describe things of age. I love antiquity. Therefore, you will find there is only one modern house successfully making it to my top 5 list. The American country-style house behind me wins the 4th place. I know very little of American country architecture, but this one here wins my favor simply for its honesty to the original design by the architect, whoever that was. The masonry patterns, the very American selection of colors, make it so exotic and yet so honest to what it wanted to be from the very first day. And then we arrived at the forgotten house, who was being eaten away by bushes and vegetation. This maison of red bricks is my pick for the 3rd place to win for its beauty of symmetry and elegance. Presumably built in the 1980s, this project was set in a time of industrialization of China. Cement was popularized in Hunan to make mortar, replacing lime. This 2-story residence is in the traditional Hunan style, but of modern material. The balustrade of concrete on the upper floor was then not only fashionable, but also remarkably expensive to make. Once the proud home of some opulent family, today it sits quietly behind the cornfields, utterly forgotten. The 2nd place goes to this little fellow behind me, neither for its function nor for its size, but for the exquisite roof. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the true vernicular Hunan style roof that had provided shelter for landlords, mandarins and temples for hundreds of years. Along my way to the market, this is the only surviving roof of the kind we could still visit and appreciate. The wavy contour, the smooth corners, and the grey and black theme of its structure are the signature of the Hunan country house of the Ming and Qing dynasties. This is truly an antique piece over 100 years old. Today still serving its ancient purpose as a shrine hosting the local god of the Terre. My all-time favorite architecture on my way to the market is this Venetian idea behind me. Let's call it the Venetian earth house, for it was made of rammed earth bricks and wood logs without interference of any metal. The house sits on a layer of carefully foundationed stones, which in turn sits on a fish pond. It is by virtue of pure mastery that the earth bricks and the wooden structure could stand upright on a pond. I could hardly imagine whether it was for the view of the fish or simply for the romantic idea of a floating house that the master decided to create such a piece of art. But what I can be sure of is he was successful at least in making one man happier. Every time when I drive by, my heart blossoms to see this house and its interaction with the fish pond. What a man of genius! Thanks to my countrymen who built these 5 pieces. I guess some of them had already died 100 years ago. Some have relocated. But their legacy left behind has remained a pleasure to my eye all the years. Great art lives on.